When a Republican congressman and a double amputee war veteran noticed a VA hospital down in Florida was missing the portraits of President Trump and the VA secretary, he took action.
Happy to be able to get these hung up. We always say in the Army, right? Nothing takes 5 minutes.
But shortly after those pictures were taken down, after they were put up, they were deemed inappropriate. You believe that?
Florida Congressman and Army vet Brian Mast joins us from our nation's capital, Statuary Hall. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Doing okay. Since we did the story yesterday, we have heard from people all across the country that have also said there are no portraits at their VA. But one of the things that Ed Henry told us when he told us this story yesterday was you talked to somebody at the VA who said, yeah, the portraits aren't up because that's not our president. Tell us about that part of the story.
And that was what really struck me about this. It's what really got me involved is my office started receiving numerous reports from veterans who had gone to the VA and just in passing were asking about where are the portraits of the president, of the secretary of the VA, and they were told a gamut of different things, mostly negative, from, well, maybe we'll get them up in 8 or 9 months, to people saying he's not my president, to things that were much more vulgar than that. And, you know, we as veterans, this is what we do. When we see a problem, we address it and we try to fix it right away. And I think this is exactly what pisses people off about the government is they don't have that kind of reactionary capability to just fix a problem immediately. And here we say they made an even bigger problem out of the situation.
Do you think part of this, Congressman, is the fact that the president's going to bat for guys like you and women like you that fight for the country, but the administration's the one under attack with his words, and there's going to be the pressure to revamp and reform?
Absolutely. There's absolutely a political end to this. You know, you can look at VAs across the country. There are VA unions that campaigned heavily against President Trump. The VA union in my own VA hospital that we're talking about right now, you can go on their Facebook page, see the things that they put up against President Trump. Absolutely, this plays a role in it. And the reality is the VA does not belong to the employees. The VA belongs to the veterans.
You know what struck me is that this is a president who's fighting for the VA. He talked about his skinny budget yesterday, and he wants to increase and give veterans or make sure that our military is getting a boost of $54 billion. And then if you look at the past president, the past administration, I remember to Phoenix, and I talked to all these families that couldn't even get an appointment at the VA, and so they lost their loved ones. That's what struck me. I mean, this is a man who's the commander-in-chief over our military. They don't want to put his picture up.
You better believe it. I spoke to President Trump personally about this numerous times, not about the photograph, but about, you know, what his role is going to be with the VA. And we talked in depth about the fact that he wants to go out there. He wants to make sure they get the resources. He wants to make sure that they find a way to be responsive to veterans' needs, because that's really who veterans are. Like we said, when they see an issue, they fix it on the battlefield immediately. And that's probably one of the biggest divides that exist between veterans and the VA is they don't get that same kind of quick action care that they deliver on the battlefield.
Well, you took quick action. You tried to deliver. You had heard that there were no portraits of the VA secretary and the president, so you went, you put them up on the wall there, and we did have some images that we showed where you, there you are posing right next to it. But then shortly thereafter, the VA took them down because, according to their statement, they were not the official photographs from the central office. That is a bunch of BS, Congressman.
That is absolutely hiding behind a piece of administrative jargon just to take the pictures down. They could have said these pictures are a placeholder until we get better ones. The reality was these were pictures that were taken directly off the White House website, directly off the VA website. Every veteran left there thinking that they had done a good thing, that they had a small win, that they worked together with the VA, and they ended up coming away that night feeling as though they were stabbed in the back by those people that were at the VA because they went behind their back and took the pictures down after something good had happened.
But it's not just happening in Florida, it's all across the country.
Congressman,
it's happening all across the country. They're not putting the pictures up, and there should be hell to pay for that. If you're a veteran in there, take the picture of the empty wall, the empty frame, and let us know, and we'll continue to put pressure on them.
Congressman, I bet if you were down in West Palm Beach right now, you'd go back today with another portrait, wouldn't you?
You better believe it. I had people asking me already, do they still have the portraits there? Can we get those rounds and fire them again? And the reality is the VA still has those portraits sitting there. So if they still want to do the right thing, they can hang them back up on the wall.
Okay, he's issued a challenge to the administrators at the VA hospital in West Palm Beach. Put up the portraits. Come on. We're with you. All right.
Thank you, Congressman.